6 feet 2 in a compact, no slack. And luckily the seats go back. I've got a nap to relax. Red wine, Shepherd's Bush, my compact push, Notting Hill Gate, my Fiat Skate, with a cream Cabernet, but not today.
Everybody had a great night. Man, those affirmations, John Sy, I've heard him do those many, many times. He is a warrior at that stuff. It's amazing to listen to him. So, gave you a little teaser, I think yesterday, and then for those of you who got a chance to sit through X Camp, you got to hear a little bit about what we're going to hear about here as well. But I want to take you back just a minute before I introduce Naveen. One of the things that I struggled with is, obviously, I've been building, obviously a pretty entrepreneurial business now I've been in real estate for a little over 20 years. And I remember the day I got into real estate, I need to put a roof over the head, food on the table. I was, $40,000 in debt. I mean, there was a lot of things that were struggling, and so I worked my ass off. I busted my butt really doing all the things. And I was a big SEO guy, I was showing properties, I was working all hours of the day, and had great success. Rookie of the year, ended up being the top 50 at the previous company that I was at, and then started my own real estate brokerage, and then eventually EXP. And one of the things that took place through that whole journey, and many of you probably can relate to this, is I kept on making excuses for not doing the things that I needed to do for me, for my body. I always said that I would sacrifice to put a roof over the head, and then eventually I just kept on doing that as opposed to prioritizing my health. Some of you heard me talk back in 2018, 2019, I was having some pretty significant health issues, especially after 2016. Debbie and I got off the road in the motor coach doing the EXP expansion tour, and literally I went to the doctor, and they basically said, you're going to take Prilosec for the rest of your life. And I didn't accept that, but my guess is there's a fair number of people in this room that basically are on a proton pump inhibitor. It's like the most prescribed drug that there is out there. And not to talk about drugs per se, because a lot of them are really good, and some people need to take them. But for me, I didn't want to do that. And so for 2016, 17, 18, 19, I was trying to figure it out, but my weight was going up. 2019, I hit 225 pounds. I looked at my Withings app that actually showed my weight, and I started to have some heart issues, and then I'm like, man, I really have to figure this out. And I thought I was doing the right stuff. I was trying to get my runs in. I was trying to do all the things that I could do. I started just reading research study after research study, and then last year, and my weight started to come down a bit, 2019 to 2020 to 2021, but last year I said I really need to go all in on figuring this stuff out. So I stepped up and went to Peter Diamandis' Longevity Platinum Retreat, and there I was just blown away with the technology that's happening in the health span space. So basically increasing the health span and, in theory, lifespan. And I went all in. I met actually Naveen and your wife at that event, and then I actually started to do Viome back in November, and I did Viome. I took the test. We'll talk a little bit about it. I came back with a biological score, biological age at 54, and I was 55 at the time, and I was like, that's pretty good. At least I'm younger biologically than I am physically. But that's really just the average, right? You think about, I'm biologically 55. I'm just average for 55. I didn't really want to be average. So I continued to work on things. I was intermittent fasting. I was doing a number of different things. And I retested in September, and my biological age came back at 48. And this is really, really significant. So what I didn't understand last year, and this year I went to the same retreat, Debbie and I went, and I got to hear Naveen talk about the technology that he has pioneered with a team from Los Alamos lab. And it just blew me away. And when I understood it, I was like, this is amazing. So I actually said, we need to have something in health for success. So we actually started Success Health. And we need a pillar, and this is the perfect pillar for what's referred to as precision nutrition. So Naveen, maybe you can, I'm blown away at what you've done. He's disrupting a industry that really is, I don't want to say smoke and mirrors, but I have no idea when I read a research study as to what works or what doesn't work. And what ends up happening is I end up taking everything. And I literally have like a boatload of stuff that I take, and then when I learned what Viome actually does, one, I'm going to actually save money, quite frankly, and I'll actually be able to understand what's actually going on in my body. So Naveen, you've done some amazing stuff. Love to again.
Well, first of all, Glenn, thank you very much for sharing your story. And to me, the Viome was a journey that I started 7 years ago with a simple belief. What if we can understand what is happening inside our body? What if we don't treat our body like a black box and just keep throwing inside the things and hoping some magic will happen? It turns out that there is no such thing as universal healthy food. We have always been told, eat spinach because Popeye told you it's really good for you, right? But Popeye was not a scientist, right? Spinach may be good for some people, but for other people it actually harms you because it's very high in oxalate and you may end up getting a kidney stone. Broccoli may be good for some people, the Brussels sprout may be good for some people, but if you have high sulfide production, they are exactly the things you should not be eating. People think avocado is really good. Take vitamin B3 is good for everyone. Guess what? That's exactly what you should be doing if you have very high uric acid production. People will tell you, take NAD, it makes you live long. Guess what? It's going to make you live really short if you have high cellular senescence. Right? So the point is, there is no such thing what is good for you. It is about what is happening right now inside your body. And that's, unless you test, you're simply guessing. Right? And that's really our whole philosophy was, we will never tell someone what to do until they analyze the body, what's going on. And I can tell you a little bit more about that, about how Viome works. But I was thinking, well, maybe given there's so many people here who fundamentally believe that their life is all about success. And I kept thinking that, what does success mean to people, right? And a lot of the people here obviously, look at success from a financial perspective. The more money I have, the more successful I am. Right? And I think I can tell you that having done this for so many years so many decades in my life, unlike him, he's a baby, I'm 63 years old, right? But my biological age is actually 50. So I'm actually 13 years younger than my chronological age. Success is not about how much money you have in the bank. Success can only be measured by how many lives you improve every single day. Right? So now you will constantly hear about sell. I'm here to tell you that don't ever sell. Educate people, inspire people to buy, but never sell a thing. Right? And that is what everyone in this room does automatically. People who are good, they do that naturally. They educate about why this property makes perfect sense for them and they guide them away when it doesn't. They inspire them to think they can afford something that they may not believe they can. They start to do things that naturally comes to them, which is about education and information and inspiration, rather than about selling. So don't ever sell, inspire and educate people to buy. And that's really what your most successful people do. Find something that you're willing to die for and live for it, right? Don't sacrifice your health for wealth, because when you get to my age, you'll be sacrificing your wealth to get your health back, right? When you are sick, you only have one wish. When you are healthy, you have many wishes. So don't ever have one wish, have many wishes, right? Now, coming back to Viome and Glenn. So, 7 years ago, my dad was having pancreatic cancer, and I saw him that there's nothing I could do, and I kept doing all the research, and it was clear to me that this cancer is being caused by imbalance in his gut. And there was a research that clearly showed that how gut microbiome imbalance or dysbiosis causes that pancreatic cancer. And there's nothing I could do. I lost him to cancer. But I made him a promise that, Dad, I can't save you, but I promise you that I'm going to dedicate my life to solving this problem for humanity. And I did that. So I went on this journey to find out why people gain weight, why people get diabetes, why people have heart disease, why people get depression, anxiety, cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. And it turns out it's not in our genes. And we have been falsely told genes are your destiny. You just were dealt the bad card. You just are destined to be sick because that's what's in your DNA. Well, interesting thing, Glenn, was when you do your DNA test today, and 2 years later you gain 40 pounds, has your DNA changed? No. You become diabetic, has your DNA changed? No, it never changes. You get heart disease, your DNA hasn't changed. You can't say I'm going to base everything on my DNA, and while I'm getting sicker and sicker. Even after you die, your DNA doesn't change. You can still look at the DNA of a dinosaur. If DNA can't even tell you you're dead or alive, how will it ever tell you you're healthy or sick? And that was the fundamentally, I couldn't understand that. Not being a scientist is a great advantage. You get to challenge everything that experts have taken it for granted. And I did not want to believe that it was my destiny to die from disease that I don't have to. So I went on a journey to find the technology that analyzes your gene expression, mRNA, not just your DNA. You know the four-letter word that we got really used to hearing in the last 2 years? That mRNA thing, that four-letter word? That's what we do. We look at your underlying gene expression of your microbiome in your gut, microbiome in your mouth, saliva, and then we look at fingerprint blood. And that allows us to see, now here's what happens here. So you do a test, it tells you what's your biological age, what's your heart health, what's your brain health, what's your immune health, what's your gut health, what's your oral health, your dental health, your gum health, and on and on and on. But it's not about geeking you out with all that stuff. Then we tell you, don't eat these foods, and here is why. Eat these foods, and here is why. Don't take these supplements, and only take 29 milligram of berberine. Take 79 milligram of amylase. And we literally tell you what you need, the vitamin, mineral, herbs, digestive enzyme, amino acid, peptides, probiotic, prebiotic, in exactly what dosage. And then we go a step further. We built a robotic compounding pharmacy that literally makes that formula for you that day and ship it to you every month. And then you retest, your body changes, and we ship it right to you. Now, interestingly, when we started the company, the first time we did the test, it cost us $900, and we sold that for $900. Today, that cost for us is $149, and we sell that for $149. You can do all 3 tests now for your saliva, blood, and stool for $299. But we went even further. We said, what if we can give this away? What if we don't charge at all and get people to get better? And they just pay a monthly fee where we give the test away every year, and then we ship you the monthly supplements and probiotics, everything you need every month. You don't have to do a thing. It's literally designed just for you. And that's what Glenn and I talked about. What if we could do that? It will fundamentally change the trajectory of how humanity is going to live. And if you get better, you can produce more. Your kids will be happier. And guess what happens? Your family will be happier, your community will be happier, your country will be happier, and humanity will be happier. And to me, there is no better way to contribute than to go out and do something that's good for yourself.
So, I love Naveen. He's got such great energy. I also nerd out on data. I know you're a nerd as well. And
That's a compliment, by the way. So
I like nerds. And you found some really interesting technology.
Mm-hmm.
So you were on a mission. You actually did sort of a Shark Tank kind of deal to actually find the best of the best.
That's right.
And what was that, and where did that come from?
Well, it turns out when I say we're going to understand the gene expression, because your genes never change, but your gene expression is always changing. And a lot of people say, I don't know what this guy is talking about, what is the gene and gene expression. Just remember, every part of our body is identical DNA, comes from identical DNA from the mom and dad zygote, and every cell in our body. So you look at your hair, your nose, your eyes, your finger, your nails have the same DNA. Then why is it we don't have the eyes growing on my finger and the nails growing on my head? Same DNA. It's simply your gene expression changes, it becomes hair. It changes, it becomes skin. It changes, it becomes nails. So some genes are overexpressed, some genes are underexpressed. So same DNA can write any story you want. So DNA is like an alphabet, and the story you're writing is your RNA, your gene expression. And that's what we look at. What story is your body writing for you? Is it actually doing something that's good for you, or is writing a thriller that is no good for you? Right? And so to find that out, I went to the scientists everywhere. Can we do this RNA analysis? And everyone told me it has never been done. As an entrepreneur, you just don't take no for an answer. So I went to NASA JPL because I knew them from my past life at Moon Express going to the moon. So I said, these guys are going to Mars. They obviously are looking for life. They must know how to do this. They said, no, we can tell you there is something out there. We can't tell you what's going on there. And I said, you guys are a bunch of morons. I'm going to go to the NASA headquarters. The Houston. Went there, talked to everyone. Nothing out there. Went to Kennedy Space Center. Went to Lawrence Berkeley, Lawrence Livermore. I'm going to all the national labs. And ended up at Los Alamos National Lab. Anyone who can tell me what Los Alamos National Lab is famous for?
Nuclear bomb.
Atomic bomb. These guys know their stuff. It was called Manhattan Project. It wasn't done in Manhattan. It was done in Los Alamos. So I decided I'm going to actually host all the scientists and see, is there anyone who can help me solve this problem? That was Shark Tank he's talking about. One of the scientists came and said, you know what? Not only I can tell you what is being expressed by your microbiome in your body, what's expressing in your body, how they're interacting together, I can even tell you what medicine will work, what foods will work or not. So my first question to him was, hey, what project are you working on? And he looks at me straight in the eye and says, what's your security clearance level? And then he says, don't answer that. Even if you told me you work for CIA, you don't have enough security clearance for me to talk to you. And my first thing was, bullshit! and I said, forget it. I don't need to know what project are you working on. I am a US citizen. You got to tell me how it works. Because that's by law. It's my taxpayer money. They just can't say they do something and they can't tell me how it works. So he started describing me how it works. I wrote down everything, and then I went to Lawrence Berkeley because I'm no dumb. And I said, hey guys, I figured out how to do this. How? This is all you have to do and it will work. Will it work? And the guy said, if you can do all these things, it will definitely work. I'm thinking, I got it. So now all I had to do was get an exclusive perpetual license from the government to do this. Guess what? Someday when we have more time, I'm not watching the clock, we'll tell you about how to do that. But did end up getting that. And I can tell you that how I did that. That was the best sales job I ever did in my life. The guy told me, there is nothing you can tell us that will ever get you to have this technology, ever. And I told him, okay, you still have to talk to me because you just can't say I won't talk to you. And after a whole day, I took him out for dinner and I told him, look, I'm going to use this technology to solve the problem around this epidemic of chronic diseases so people don't die from obesity, diabetes, heart diseases, cancer, depression, anxiety, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. And I'm going to dedicate my life to doing it. Now, you don't have to give me this technology. I'm going to move on and do something else. But every single day, when you look in the mirror, the blood is going to be in your hand. Your grandkids you have to explain to grandkids that you had a power to change the way people live their lives, and you were so scared of keeping your job, you decided not to give it to someone who could have actually helped humanity. And he took a sigh of relief and he said, God damn it, I'll give it to you.
So once I understood, there's lots of people who do DNA tests. You know, 10x Health, we heard from Gary Brecka at Build, and it's very expensive. I think it's like $1,200 to do the tests, and it really doesn't do much beyond that. Here, it's $299. You get
$169.
$169 a month, including the test.
Yes.
Includes I think I've got, this is my personalized supplement. It's got my name on it. It's actually designed specifically for me. There's Naveen's. Designed and it literally goes in and tells you exactly what's in it and why it's in there based on your microbiome. And so for me, it's like, once I understood what this was, it was like, everybody needs to be on. So we've got, obviously EXP Healthcare. We've got about 9,000 of our agents and brokers who are actually on, basically a something that's akin to or an analog to health insurance, and we're saving a lot of agents a lot of money. And so we're trying to figure out, how could we roll that in potentially? Now we haven't figured that out yet, but if everybody got on, something like this involved with Success Health, what have you. We would have, and we will have, the healthiest agents in the residential real estate. And so we've solved, obviously one of the challenges that we solved is being able to actually have a meaningful, potentially meaningful retirement as an agent because of the way we've structured revenue share and equity and the way that we've kind of built the model. If you take advantage of that, it actually gives you an exit ramp off of having to go out and just list and sell. Listing and selling is great. It's a noble profession. I obviously loved it. I did it. But we've got the exit ramp there. But if you're not healthy, who cares? Like literally, who cares? So for me, when I started to really understand this piece of the model and how it sort of matches up with where we're going. By the way, the technology, and Naveen and I got to sit through a number of presentations from people who literally in the next 20 years, as long as you don't do something stupid and you don't die from stuff that you don't need to die from, the technology that's coming down in the next 20 years, literally, like, lifespan is going to be elective, not something that just happens. At least that's the theory. The theory is that in about 20 years, the technology conversion is going to be that you're going to be able to live for a really, really, really long time. And so our job is, and I think about this as purpose. Our purpose isn't to make a lot of money. It certainly that helps us do our real purpose, which should be to inspire others to be their best selves. That is really the purpose. And I think that is everybody's purpose, whether they recognize it or not. You're either demonstrating how other people to live their best lives, or you're an example of how not to live your life.
Exactly.
one or the other, you're demonstrating. And so I think the idea is just to be very aspirational and figure out, how do I optimize? How do I go through life being an example? And what are the things that I can put in place? Just my personal health journey. You guys know, I've been up on stage, every year for the last 9 years at EXPCon, obviously other than 2020 when we did it virtually. You probably can tell my health is a way lot better than it was.
You look much better than I remember meeting you 5 years ago. I mean, you look better, you have more energy. I mean, you really have changed quite a bit. Just your mindset had changed, your physical, obviously, appearance had changed. But I see the energy in you just different, very different. And I think just as we start to wrap up here, Glenn, I was just simply thinking about that. All these great people, I met some of them in the last, from yesterday when I came here, just amazingly group of people. And you go out there and make a change every single day. And there are going to be ups and downs in your life. And I just want you to know that is what being alive means. You have a heartbeat which goes up and down and up and down. When it is smooth, you are dead. So don't look for a smooth life, because when you get a smooth life, you're living a life of a dead person. Enjoy when there is a down in your life. Just hunker down and know the next beat is going to be up. And when you are on top of that beat, never get too arrogant. Remember, the winter is coming and winter shall come, right? So don't look for a smooth life. Enjoy the ups and downs, and just know you are here to make a difference in people's lives.
So 2 last things. Hopefully you've scanned the QR code that's up here. I'd love to, we've got a few things going on with this QR code. One, it'll take you right to the Viome Success Health page, and you can actually start the full body intelligence and start to actually optimize. And we've got a private Facebook group that as you subscribe, we're going to be putting people into that group so we can all be sort of, communicating together. Also, Viome has a booth in the trade show, and they have kits. I think they've got a couple hundred kits left where you can actually go tonight if you wanted to, or tomorrow morning, and literally get your samples, ship them off, and within about 7 to 9 days, you'll actually get your results in an app, which will then start to tell you what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, why, or what's going on. Right now, who here thinks that blueberries is a superfood? Everybody pretty much, because it's been publicized as superfood. Right now, for me, it's actually an avoid, and the reason is that I actually was eating blueberries like crazy, and I actually have in my microbiome a blueberry virus that actually causes inflammation in my system. So I actually have to eliminate it for a period of 30 days to actually breathe and potentially introduce it. And who would have thought that? But the only way you can find out about that is if you've got some way to test for it. And so that's a super cool part of this. So if you do, that's awesome. Obviously, they're gonna be a pillar of our Success Health community. So you're gonna hear more about Viome certainly in the future. But my whole mission is not just helping agents be the best sales agents, but also be the best, healthy, longest living agent. So Naveen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn. I'm really looking forward to this partnership, and to me, as I said, every one of you makes other people's dream come true. So just don't ever forget that because of you, a lot of people's dream come true. The American dream is about that what you make that happen. So be proud of what you do every single day, but make sure you don't sacrifice your health for that. And I think Glenn and I agree there's going to be a special price when you go there. That price is only for you here in this community, and no one gets that price. And by the way, as our cost comes down, every time our costs come down, you have my absolute promise to you, we'll bring that cost down for you. That never just because you sign up, then you
Awesome. Well, thank you. I think we're beyond time, but appreciate it. Thank you.